So if you had access to a car like this on a day like today, what would you do? That's what I thought. Let's drive it. So what we have here is a 2018 Lamborghini Huracán Performante, finished in blue Sideris. There's tons of flake in the paint. It's an ad personam color. And you know what kind of sets this apart from the standard Huracán model, being the Performante, is it's the more lightweight and track focused version. The big difference and kind of the pioneer for Lamborghini and their aerodynamics, or active aerodynamics, is the Allis System, which is Aerodynamica Lamborghini Attiva. Essentially what that is these little dams up here open up depending on your steering input, what mode you're in, and then followed to the back. You can see the wing, which is not standard on the other Huracans, goes in through these openings, and there's actuators in there that can control the amount of air that goes up through these winglets, which are hollow, and the air is then spit out through these little openings right here. You can see the differences on the rear fascia as well as the front. There's all this forged carbon fiber, as well as in the shiny version, gloss, and then the matte version inside the car. Most people, when they don't know what it is, they think it's actually dirty. So one of my favorite features of the car is not only the bronze wheels, as the intake manifold that's kind of the same color. So we'll look at the trunk space. So the trunk space in these cars is not bad, actually. Yeah, it's horrendous. So I fit, you know, one camera bag in here. There's a jacket. So if you're going on a long road trip, you might not want to take this car. I mean, well, depends on what you want to drive. Anyways, we'll pop the rear bonnet and see what that looks like. There we go. And then this just opens up like so. But yeah, so as you can see, you know, the air boxes are right here, and these are the inlets I was talking about. You see the actuators right now, they're closed. And then there's a little funnel down to, you know, the exhaust shroud, because I'm sure this car with the 5.2 liter V10, you know, gets pretty hot, especially when people are beating on them in the red lines at around 9,000. So anyway, you can see this whole piece is the forged carbon composite, as well as, you know, the kind of engine covers over here and whatnot. So we'll give this a close and we'll check out the interior. Just give it a little push and it's secured. Following the ad personam features on the inside, you have all, turn this off real quick, you have all this yellow accenting throughout the car. It's all Alcantara across the car. There's no leather whatsoever, as opposed to the standard Huracan models. These are actually the comfort seats. These aren't the carbon backs with, you know, the minimalist padding that are very uncomfortable. These are pretty bearable on long drives and whatnot. What's kind of cool is it shows the silhouette of the car when you finally get in. And this car has about 5,500 miles on it. The current owner bought it in August, brand new. So, you know, he drives it. You flip this up. This is the best part of, you know, all Lamborghinis today. You start the engine. Flip this back down. So, keys, you know, it's pretty standard. It's an Audi key, but, you know, still pretty cool. Full Apple CarPlay and everything like that. It's just kind of annoying. Because when you plug in your phone, the whole gauge cluster goes to what your phone is, and you can't really see any of this stuff. So we'll switch it into sport mode. This is what I drive in most times when I'm driving this car, as well as the owner. Course is kind of, you know, really aggressive, and we'll show that, you know, once we get on the road. But it's nice because Strada, I don't know if you guys can hear it on camera, but opening and closing the valves, you know, it quiets the car down so much, and that's part of the reason why the owner doesn't want to get an exhaust for this car, because he had a full B-Rogue built exhaust that was titanium, and it was pretty much straight piped, and it was very loud and drone like crazy in the highway, just because, you know, it is straight pipe. It's not because of B-Rogue. Brandon from B-Rogue is actually the guy that built the exhaust for daily driven exotics on his old Huracan before he did the Sheepy Race twin turbo. And to go, you press this paddle. You see a little A right there. Down here you press the M, and now you're in manual mode. We actually have to get fuel too, so, and now we're away. Immediately with the dual clutch transmission in this car, the windows up, this car is just so easy to drive compared to the Aventador. I mean, I haven't personally driven an Aventador, but with that single clutch transmission, I would imagine, you know, around town and even like cities like Chicago, it's got to be just brutal. You know, this car you could daily drive, which, you know, this owner does occasionally. I mean, even when you just put it in automatic mode and you switch it into Strada, it drives like a Prius. I mean, I don't know if you can hear the volume change, but so now we're just going along. It'll shift for you. It's not jerky. The shifts aren't bad at all. It's only when you turn it to the Sport and Corsa modes that the shifts kind of firm up and throw you back in your seat and, you know, become more violent. And that's, I think that's kind of Volkswagen and Audi trying to keep Lamborghini, you know, that more of an experience when you want it to be, you know, compared to the old cars where it was just crazy all the time. And, you know, it's kind of what made them Lamborghini. So now we'll switch it back into Sport. I'll put the window down a little bit. It's all these little dials right up here. So switch it back into manual mode. It doesn't pop as much as the old 580 that he had did. Well, the pops are still pretty loud. Turn signals right here on the steering wheel. Get going. This car is super easy to drive. Each time I drove the 580, I was a little bit intimidated because, you know, it's a Lamborghini, it's a $200,000+ car, but these cars are actually super easy to drive, and I can't stress that enough. I know I've said it a lot already, but it's everything that I imagined it would be, and everything that you just would think that would come from a Lamborghini, and the experience without totally killing you like the old cars. Oh, what is this guy doing? And when you actually come to a stop, it'll downshift down to first for you. I don't know what this lady's doing. And it's kind of funny, you know, associated with this car being pretty stripped out compared to the older cars, the cabin is actually not a bad place to be. You would think that having all the sound deadening removed and whatnot, oh god, there's a cop right up there. Having all the sound deadening gone, you would think that it would be a loud place in here. It's actually not that bad, and you wouldn't think that the car was crazy loud for a Lamborghini inside here until you're outside the car and you hear this thing go past, and it is freaking loud. You know, in Strada not so much, but in Sport and Corsa, when the valves open up, if you're inside your house just hanging out and this car pulls up and you're not even on it, you can hear it and you can feel the house shake. So right now I'm just getting out of town. I'm not gonna drive too crazy on these residential streets. Don't want to really get in trouble. Plus it's not my car, so I don't really feel like getting it impounded. Usually when I'm downshift in a second, I'll leave it there and let it go into first on its own, or else it'll get pretty jerky. So now that we're coming up these train tracks right up here, you press this button right here for the lift. The front end lift, the vehicle raises. It takes a little while, so, you know, go slow. Oh, I guess this guy's gonna go, but all right. So now we'll put it back down. Once it finishes, it's blinking right there. And then now you see it'll blink again and it'll finish out and the whole front of the car raises down. Up at the revs, it pops pretty low. On the outside of the car, it's almost deafening. Oh, I love the pops. There it is. So you can see the Allis System activating right there, and then it transfers on down over there. Not like you can watch it while you're driving or anything, but it's like all lit up like blue and such. It's kind of cool. A little gimmicky feature, but so like even with the windows rolled up, we'll switch it into Strada, throw it in 7th. But you can't even really hear the sound of the engine. You're just cruising, and the steering feel gets really light per the comfort setting. But as soon as you switch it back, the valves open back up, and the steering firms back up. He's coming. So as soon as you flip it into Corsa mode, as you can see, the RPMs raised right away, and it's this whole different cluster that's so cool. But the shifts, oh my god, the shifts. Once you get up in the RPM range, they're reminiscent of the old Gallardo E-gear system. So back in the old Gallardo days, back when they started in 04, the E-gear systems are known for, when you shift, no matter what mode you're in or however you're driving the car, they're just brutal, like neck snapping shifts. And that was kind of the characteristic of the E-gear and what people loved about it. You know, it was a love or hate type thing, depending on, you know, who your mood was that day. But more so, I think Lamborghini, when you're in Corsa mode, I think they're trying to program that back into your experience. Because once you get going, I'll show you, even the shifts are a lot more crisp. And there you go. It just, you know, it makes your head bob. It snaps you back into the seat. It's just crazy. Oh, we got a red light. Here we go. Front end lift is raised. We're just gonna angle it just to make sure. Cool. We gotta get some gas because this 5.2 liter V10 drinks like a fish. Everybody looks at you and gives you a thumbs up in this car. All right, the gas is on my side, I believe. Stuff out of the front of the car. Oh, I was wrong. It's on the other side of the car. My bad. And even like the view, I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see back there. So, no obstructed view. I'm sure the Vorsteiner wing is much shorter. Maybe that does anything, but we'll see. So GoPro died on those last few pulls, so we just got home, charged it up. Now I got to detail it before we get back. So we're gonna let the engine cool off. We're gonna do the wheels first. I already vacuumed out the inside while this was charging. Then do some detailing with Beadmaker, and it should be good. But today was a good day.